Giving birth is a true marvel. Thus, a mother was ecstatic to give birth to 9 infants instead of only 1. However, medical professionals discovered that one of them wasn't quite like the others, and they'll leave you wondering why. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. Mali was home to Halima Sese and her spouse, Abdul Qadir Arbi. Although they had always expressed a desire to have children, the timing never seemed to exactly work out. To be honest, especially for Halima, establishing a family was a really daunting thing. She has no siblings or sisters and was raised as an only child until the age of 26. She was never privy to the daily hardship and conflict that come with raising a big family. Her husband had grown up with 2 siblings, one older, one younger, so he got to experience some of the struggle, though in all honesty, even he couldn't fathom how tough bringing up a child might be. They continued to kick the can down the road and put it off. Halima had preferred to start out with 2 or 3 kids. That felt like a good, reasonable amount. 3 kids would ensure that they always have someone to play and chat with, without having too many that may cause things to get chaotic and out of control. She might eventually begin to gradually grow that family. Halima kept thinking about it until she decided one day that she was ready to go ahead and really begin her first childbearing attempt. Halima and Abdul Qadir were pregnant rather quickly. Naturally, they were both ecstatic, but they would be lying if they claimed not to be a bit reserved. However, there was now no turning back. They were in for a huge surprise when they initially went to the hospital for their first scan, but little did they know that things would immediately start to go out of control. As Halima settled in for his scan, she was eager to learn whether her child was doing well. The physician took a seat next to her and began to examine her abdomen. He struck up a conversation with Halima at first, asking her the standard questions about if she was excited and if she had any names chosen. But then he just stopped talking and turned to stare at the screen. He scowled a little bit. Halima was unable to see what was on the screen at the moment, and even if she could, she wasn't sure that she would comprehend it. However, she was alarmed by the doctor's appearance. The physician left the room and proceeded to get another physician to confirm whatever it was he had seen during the scan. The second doctor entered, and in a few seconds he was frowning and staring at the screen as well. Halima couldn't stand it any longer and inquired about the issue. The first doctor turned to face her and gave her a kind grin before telling her that there were actually 7 babies developing inside of her. Halima shook herself. 7 infants! She could never have predicted that she would be bringing 7 infants into the world at once, yet that is exactly what happened. She must have looked shocked since the doctors told her right away that everything would be okay, and that all she needed to do was take extra care of herself in order for all the kids to grow and develop inside of her. Let's now briefly examine the likelihood of having more than 1 child. Twins are born in 1 in 250 pregnancies, while triplets are born about 1 in 10,000 pregnancies. The more infants a mother is carrying, the more astronomically high the odds become. For instance, the probability of giving birth to 6 children, sometimes referred to as sextuplets, is around 1 in less than 4 billion. But 7 infants? The likelihood of it happening is so remote that it may as well be regarded as impossible, albeit those odds have never been determined. Halima's husband was equally astonished when she broke the news to him. He was so weak that he had to sit down for a considerable amount of time. Undoubtedly, it was a significant turning point in their lives. However, it wouldn't go as easily as a typical pregnancy would. For instance, Halima's body would be under extreme pressure, and the health of the numerous infants crammed into such a tiny area may also be in jeopardy. Doctors advised her to visit a specialized hospital in Casablanca because of this. It was sound advice, and she followed it to ensure the safety of her children as well as herself. Halima had enormous abdominal swelling as her pregnancy went on. She found it difficult to complete even the most basic activities, and simply walking exhausted her. Because of how difficult the pregnancy was, she began to question if she really wanted the children. However, she continued to cling to her idealized family fantasy. She knew she could achieve it as long as she clung to that goal. It couldn't possibly get worse or more difficult, could it? Could they, or would they? Before it ended, there were a few more twists to this story. See what the next startling development is by continuing to watch. Finally, Halima's labor began on that day. A tiny army of people was waiting to assist her at the specialized hospital in Casablanca, where she was sent very quickly. Anesthetists, physicians, nurses, gynecologists, students, midwives, and everyone else were prepared to transport her belongings. Fortunately, Halima was even more confident that she was in capable hands. However, when it was time for her to push, medical professionals determined that Halima's body could be too damaged by a natural birth. Rather, they would perform a cesarean section to remove the kids. The amount of infants the doctor observed when he opened her tummy and performed the incision astounded him. Naturally, he was aware that there were 7, but seeing all 7 of the tiny, squirming babies at once was quite amazing. He was pressed for time to pause and reflect. One by one, he began to remove the infants. He mentally counted the infants as he went along: 4, 5, 6, and 7. The physician froze and his eyes widened. There were additional infants within. The other 2 little infants had lagged behind. It was challenging for the scan to identify every little child since there were so many of them in there. He turned back to find his crew examining, washing, and swaddling 9 newborns while he slowly began removing the extras. Non-euplets have been born to Halima. It was something the doctors had never heard of. This had to be a record of some sort. They were still in the woods, though. The doctor observed something about one of the newborns while he examined the others. It appeared more weaker and was smaller than the rest. This one was obviously in need of a little additional care if it was to survive. It was obvious that Halima's stomach had been severely squeezed, which is what had harmed it. Would the poor little infant make it? That was still up in the air. After the baby was brought to a separate surgery, an internal bleeding of significant proportions was found. In an effort to stop the bleeding, the physicians put in a lot of effort. However, a baby this little has an extremely delicate physique, and it might succumb to even the slightest shock and die. For several hours, the physicians worked deliberately, gently, and with great care. Eventually, though, they succeeded as though by some miracle. The infant was spared. Once back in the recovery area, Halima struggled to worry about the one recuperating baby, while also feeling ecstatic about her 8 healthy infants. Even yet, it was undeniable that she and her spouse were completely taken aback. They had only recently come to terms with having 7 children, so adding 2 more only caused pandemonium all over again. Halima, Abdul Qadir, and the 9 infants would be okay if they stayed together and worked as a team, even if it would be a difficult and rocky journey. Thankfully, the family's situation has only improved. Every single baby has grown and become indistinguishable from the others. They have all gone from strength to strength. It seems as though he had never had any problems. After nearly 3 months of treatment in the newborn unit, they were all eventually discharged and let to return home. With so many young children living in the home, things were undoubtedly difficult at times. But Halima and Abdul Qadir were still eager to begin the huge family life they had always imagined. It is now your turn to handle. What were your thoughts on this amazing tale? If you had learned that you were having 9 infants instead of just 1, how would you have responded? Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.